Welcome, guys, to the first episode of About JayMan, a story basically about me. And in this series, I'm just gonna tell you how I started YouTube, my inspirations, the reasons behind it, and just this first episode will just be more or less the reasons, and I will also be telling you a little bit about what was going on in my life, which actually that affected a lot of why I started doing this. So let's get started. So my first experience with the YouTube gaming, let's playing, basically was there was one night in my first year in college, this was back in 2009, where I was up late, I couldn't sleep, and I for some reason on my mind was Resident Evil Remake on GameCube. I don't know why. I did have a friend when I was in middle school that had that game. I really liked it. It was really cool. He beat it, but it was a time I wasn't over, and so I never really did see the end of that game. And for some reason that night, that's what I was thinking of. And so I just went to YouTube. I had been watching YouTube. I watched Angry Video Game Nerd. I can't remember the name of the show. It was the one where the guys microwave stuff. I used to watch that show, or that series, or whatever. But I never really watched a Let's Play. Well, that night, probably about 11 at night, I had my laptop with me on my bed, and all I searched was Resident Evil, I think it was just Resident Evil 1, and a video by a certain YouTuber by the name of Necroscope86 popped up, and I watched the first episode, and it wasn't Resident Evil Remake, it was the first one for the director's cut on PlayStation 1. And I was just hooked on it. I ended up staying up the whole night watching the entire series. He had already finished. I had watched the entire series of his Let's Play Resident Evil director's cut. And I was like, this is so cool. I just got so involved in what he was doing, what he was talking about, and it was just something for some reason I just really liked. Well, so the rest of that semester, came back from class, finished homework or whatever, and that's what I did in my spare time. Is I would sit on my computer, I'd hang out with people, I'd be on my computer, but I'd watch his Let's Plays, Necroscope's Let's Plays. I watched every Resident Evil. Now he ended up at some point, I don't remember when, but he ended up, deleting his channel and starting from new, so none of those originals are still there, but God knows how many hours I spent watching that, and I was just so enthralled with it, and I ended up finding some other people for different games, but he was definitely the main inspiration there. I did find Vash 123459 by that exact same search, because he had it listed on games he was going to do, and I got hooked on his Metal Gear series. And it was the almost same situation. I had a friend, because I didn't have a lot of game systems growing up, and I had all the friends that had game systems. I had a friend that had Metal Gear 1, and we were in elementary school, so that game was he got grounded once for borrowing it from somebody because he knew he wasn't supposed to play it. I don't know, but I ended up watching his series of Metal Gear games all the way to 4. I mean, I watched all of them. It was crazy. how much YouTube I watched. Well, that lasted the whole summer, remainder of my freshman year of college, and around that time, actually at that time, while I was away at school, I had a girlfriend from high school. She was still in high school, and we went through it was a breakup, but at the time I thought of it more as just a break. Like I was gonna end up going to the college she was going to, and because I left the school I was at with all my friends to be with her because I thought she was the one. So we spent the summer apart. Well, that whole summer I spent watching YouTube videos. I went out, but I wasn't hanging out with her because we weren't technically together. And so I spent a lot of it watching YouTube videos. Video game ones I haven't bought. Like I bought Metal Gear 2 and 3. I bought a whole bunch of stuff, a bunch of games. Played them by watching. Anyway, I played a bunch of these games, and then one night, up really late, I think there's a common theme. It was a late night. I don't even know what I was doing, but I ended up. This is terrible what I did. I wouldn't recommend doing this, but I ended up going on my girlfriend's Facebook and saw it was a relationship status change request thing. Basically, she had moved on and she was seeing this other guy before, because we weren't officially over. Well, I saw that and immediately had sort of a meltdown. I had seriously freaked out, didn't know what to do. This was in the middle of the summer, probably July. Freaked out, like I was so confused. I didn't know what was going on. I was just, I don't know, freaked out. So I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do with my life. I had changed schools for this chick. I had I had left everything to be with her, and she just basically stabbed me in the back. So what I did to keep my mind off things was I started Let's Playing, and this is where the first series came out, which was Mike Tyson's Punch-Out on NES, and I seriously didn't look back from there. I mean, it was something that took my mind off of everything, and this probably saved me from going insane or doing something I really would have regretted. So I mean, that's seriously how I got started, was something to keep my mind off of the stupid the shit going on in my life, basically. So from there, that's all I did. I'm trying to think the games I did. I think I did Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. I did Super Mario 3. I did all sorts of things. I started getting into NES, old school gaming, which at the time weren't many people doing it. This is before everybody started doing YouTube, before it became more of a thing. I don't know when it actually became a thing, but it just seemed there weren't many out there, and I really believe I missed out on an opportunity. I was too slow, or I didn't make the right connections quick enough, but that's neither here or there. It's in the past. Whatever. But that was seriously how I got going, and what kept me going after that summer, because after that summer I had to go to this other school where I didn't know anybody, and the only person I knew there was someone I didn't want to be. Well, at the time I wanted to be around, but in reality what's best for me was not to be around her. So I became like this hermit of a person, and anybody that knows me knows I'm not like that normally. And I went to class, got a meal, came right back to my dorm, shut myself in my room. I had a roommate, but I had a roommate that was never around, so it was basically me, myself, and I. And that's when I started doing PlayStation emulation, and that's when I just started doing Resident Evil. I did Sega emulation too. I did all sorts of emulated stuff, but that again, YouTube saved me from insanity, literally. I did every game I could think of. I did most of my uploads probably back then in 2009. Trying to think. I mean, I did Dooms, I did Sega games, I did every Resident Evil. I think I did Resident Evil 3 that summer or that spring when I moved back home. So I spent just August to December at this other school, and then I moved back home because I couldn't take it anymore. I had to get out of there. It was just it was an awful situation to be in. I would wish it on to nobody to be put in a situation like that. But that was just a crazy time. But that was basically how I got started and why I kept going, and it was seriously something that kept me sane, and it's done so for a long time. I don't necessarily need it to be sane anymore. Now it's just something I do for fun, and just something became a really fun hobby of mine, and it is a great hobby. I would never want it to be a career just because I couldn't do it as a career. Not that I don't want to put the work in, it's just too much time to do it as a career. But I just love, sharing video game moments with people. As a kid, I loved watching people play video games. I think I had more fun watching or playing with someone else than playing the game by myself. So that's what I tried to emulate through this, is what I would have liked as a kid, or what I would have wanted to see. So that's a little bit there. I'm not going to go into much more detail. I went a lot farther than I actually planned on going with that story, but my plan for this series is to just basically go through the entire YouTube career and analyze everything. Like, I already went through why I started, and I went kind of on the timeline of my uploads, so you can kind of see where I was at this point in my life. Funny side note though, the time when I was away at the other school in 2009, my roommate, who, like I said, was hardly around, but when he was, he would very often interrupt my videos. There's probably a couple that even say interrupting roommate, because it happened a lot. He'd come in and be like, big pothead, he'd be like, "Whoa man, what game is this one? I mean, he was just a big pothead. I don't know why I didn't put up with him. But I mean, I could go more into detail on this. I don't want to go too much in detail, then I have nothing to talk about. But if you want to hear, more on these events or what have you, I can definitely go into more detail as to what what happened. If you want to hear stories about crazy roommates or more detail into anything I told you, I could definitely. I'm more than willing to share. But that's gonna do it for this episode here. First episode of About JayMan. Hope you learned a little bit about me. Maybe you've experienced something like that. Let me know. I wanna know what your inspiration is for your video, or for if you're doing YouTube, what your inspiration is. I'd love to hear it. So leave a like if you liked it. If you want more, obviously leave a like or comment. And as always, guys, keep on gaming.